Okay, it is more pull-ups or rings dips today. So the story so far for the February challenge is this. The pull-ups are going exceptionally well with the weight, and to be honest with you, I could probably increase the rep range or increase the weight or do something like that, but that isn't part of the plan for this challenge. So I'm going to stick with what I'm doing with regards to pull-ups. So 5,000 pull-ups is still the target for February. Now the rings dips, if you've been following the journey so far, you'll know that it absolutely has been what it says in the title. It's been challenging, mentally and physically challenging, because each session, the target that I've set myself, I've not been achieving that target on most occasions, but I've made a breakthrough. And I've released that blocker. So it's going to be 280 rings dips as a target today, not 250 rings dips. And the reason for that is what I want to start doing now as the challenge meets its almost midway point, if you will, for Feb, is I want to start clawing back on some of those rings dips that weren't achieved. So taking the 250 session target to 280, if I can do that and I can achieve that, then there is a chance that I can pull those additional reps back. So that 5,000 rings dips target is still in sights. But you know what? It's been really interesting this last week. I've had different conversations with different people, particularly about the vlog video before this, about how I talked about the mental challenges that I've been facing since this challenge started by putting myself under too much pressure, and the language that I was using. So if you remember, I was sort of meeting people that I would normally meet during my typical day, and I'd know those people in lots of different capacities. So whether they were friends, family, whether it was work related, whether it was social related, whatever it is, invariably the common denominator that all those people had regarding the connection to me is that I do challenges like this. So invariably they would say something like, how's this challenge going, or how's your challenge going, or whatever it is, something like that. And what I was doing is I was responding by saying, oh, awful, not going well at all, failed, yeah, it's just not going well, I'm not sure about this rings target. So the language that I was using, it was fairly negative, to be honest with you. And depending on who that person was, it depended on how much they really cared about the information that I was sharing with them. Meaning, they might just be saying, hey Phil, how's it going? How's your day? How's your challenge going? That type of thing. And they just want the top level stuff. Normally, I'd bring it and I'd be like, oh, amazing, going really well. Challenge is going well so far, still challenging. How's your day going? But instead, it was like, oh, the challenge is awful. I'm failing with it. So you see the difference there. They're probably used to me presenting myself in a different, more positive light. And I get that. But the worst bit is I started to believe the self-talk that was coming out of my mouth. So if you imagine, say, 10 or even 15 times a day, speaking to different people, engaging with them asking a similar question, for example, how's the challenge going? And me using words like, it's not going well, failure, all that sort of stuff. I'm going to start believing the words that are coming out of my mouth. And yeah, I can see now that happened. I almost got attached to those words and started to believe those words when that isn't the truth, because the truth is this. It is a challenge. It's meant to be challenging. And it's going how I suppose, want it to go. I want it to mentally challenge me and physically challenge me. Otherwise, I would be bored and I won't be doing it. But I needed to release those blockers, take time out for me, sit with those thoughts, recognise that those thoughts aren't me, remove myself, distance myself from those thoughts, and reframe and say, hey, listen, you know what? this is what you're achieving so far, this is how you're achieving it, this is how your performance has improved. These minor tweaks that you've made, such as reducing the reps max per set, has made a difference. Being kind to yourself, easing off on the pressure, has actually improved my physical performance, my physical and mental performance. So proof that I was getting in my own way, that I was getting in my own mental headspace. Of course, there's physiology that will play a part of that. So from ramping up the movements to, say, doing 250 rings dips a day and not ordinarily doing that on a daily basis, of course that's going to have some type of physical impact. But I'd definitely say the last 3 days have been more on the mental side of it, that preparation, that dealing with that type of self-talk, should we say, the language that I was using and how I was communicating with myself and communicating with others. So guess what? It's reframed. It's reframed to make sense, which is I'm achieving X, Y, and Z. I'm achieving these numbers. This is how I'm doing it. And I am absolutely feeling incredible about everything. And I'm looking forward to today. So I've had a couple of days of rest now. Just absolutely chilled out. Oh, listen. So, I like my Audible books. I love my Audible books because I love to stack habits. So when I'm doing the pull-ups, for example, I love to read my Audible books because invariably I'm using less brain power because the movement that I'm performing, I've performed it so many times. I've done literally hundreds of thousands of the pull-ups. I know those precision techniques. So it means that I can go into autopilot to a certain degree and focus on my breathing, my hip tilt, my hand placement, all those things. So there's room there to mentally challenge myself, fill up the hippocampus part of my brain with new, fresh information. That's where the books come in. But I've stumbled across something recently, and I know I'm probably late to the game with this, but that's Blinkist. So there's an app called Blinkist, and it's absolutely incredible. Honestly, I'm going to describe it in my own words. Essentially, it's a software platform similar to that of Audible that takes typically non-fiction books and puts them into something that you can read or listen to within around about 20 minutes. It kind of encapsulates what that book is trying to convey, what the main message is. And I understand that it's all sort of verified in some way with the author and people that wrote the books, so that you can read that and get a nice overview, a nice high-level overview with elements of detail for that book. And then if you decide that you want to read the book through its entirety, you can do, but you can just get the highlights. So technically you can absorb more information in a short space of time. So this is a bit of a game changer. It's new to me at the moment, but I'm going to see how we get on with it. Right, pull-ups, rings dips, sunshine, Manchester, feeling absolutely incredible. So it's time to get to it. So I'm 65 pull-ups in so far. And let me tell you, even though I've had 2 days rest from doing pull-ups and rings dips, just getting into it, honestly, it's I've got to get that WD-40 effect, just warming up all of the joints, muscles, ligaments, tendons, all that sort of stuff. But if we'd be speaking now and it'd be like, say, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, something like that, and I've just been doing day after day of training, it's completely different. It's like I'm on that treadmill and I've clicked start and there's no destination. I'm just going. I'm just going to keep going. Whereas having that 2 days rest and recovery, just getting back into it, I'm reminded that the rest and recovery is needed. Of course it is, because I've had a little bit of tension just around the elbow joints. That's gone now. And also, that time will just help with any muscle repair, any damaged tissue, that type of thing. But starting it does feel like day one. I know it seems like a bit of an exaggeration, but it's just having that break off is what I'm trying to say. And if it wasn't 2 days, if it was 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, it kind of feels like it gets harder as it goes along. It's just firing things up, that's all it is. But now I'm nearing on the end of block 1, and yeah, I'm getting warmed up, I'm getting into it, so I will continue. See you soon. So, on the last block of the pull-ups now. I remember when I was starting out doing the pull-up way back when I really started to focus on it. So January 2015, and they were disastrous. My expectations were that I would transition so smoothly from doing lat pull downs with a heavy weight straight into pull-ups, and that was not the case. And I'll tell you, at the time, my focus was definitely on getting above the bar. It wasn't necessarily thinking about performing the movement in terms of, like, for example, now I'm going on the ascent, eccentric, nice and calm, nice and relaxed, nice and focused. Nothing like that at all. All I wanted to do was get above that bar fast as I could and as many times as I could. And yeah, the expectations of that, that I would achieve that because of my performance of doing lat pull downs with a super heavy weight, were not met. So then I became disappointed, and that led into frustration, but also a desire to want to conquer that movement, or should I say, better understand the movement. So understand the mechanics of the movement, like why place my hands in a certain way on the bar, why have them that wide apart, that narrow, what to do with my legs, what to do with my feet, all of those things. It was a combination of feeling, I suppose, frustrated, not necessarily at the time understanding why I couldn't transition directly into that movement so smoothly. But when logic kicked in, I realised, you know what, this is a brand new movement. I've never done anything like this before. It was practicing that movement and getting to understand it. I realised that it is a complex movement, but it can be simplified. It would have been so easy for me to give up. And yeah, there was times when I was trying different techniques, and I might get some pain points, like around the wrists or the elbow, or my grip, for example. At the time, I remember my hands used to get really moist, and that build up of moisture used to kick in. Then my hands hurt as well. Oh yeah, the skin on the hands. I remember thinking, you know what, is it really worth it? And the truth is, 100%. 100%. It is absolutely worth it. And there isn't necessarily a time limit on what it takes to get to that point. Like, what is that point? For me, performing the pull-up how I perform it now has been a process that I've refined over years. And every day, even now, just doing the pull-ups, I'm always consciously aware of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. It's just because I do them so often, and I do so many, I don't have to use as much brain power, because that movement becomes almost autonomous. But that doesn't stop me having that natural desire to improve if I can do. But more importantly, being self-aware of the movement that I've just performed, like, is that good enough? is that a good enough pull-up for me? How does that feel? All those things. So, yeah, listen, I've spoken to some people recently who have started new challenges in January for the new year, and they're in Feb, and you know, naturally some people, they're not doing them anymore, i.e. they started off probably too strong with too high expectations, and lots of different things going on, quitting drinking, for example, for January, starting a new gym for the first time, lots of new things going on, so lots of new learning. And of course, it's like anything, it takes time, it takes practice, patience, persistence, all those things, but to get to that point where you really enjoy doing what you're doing. And I think there's that fine line. I think sometimes getting to the point of enjoyment, that can be a challenge in itself. And it can be easy to say, listen, you know what, I'm not enjoying this now. It's not going my way. I'm going to stop doing it, or I'm going to give up, or this thing isn't working for me, or even worse, blaming it on someone else. It's a personal trainer's fault. They're not training me well, or it's that diet. I shouldn't have done that diet. I should have done another diet. Yeah, I think definitely in my lifetime, I've tried to blame other people or other things when things haven't gone my way. I think sometimes as human beings, that's a natural thing to do. We almost put that, we put that almost blame or something on somebody or something else. But the truth is, sometimes we've just got to keep pushing on with that thing. What I would say is, if you're doing something now, some sort of fitness, exercise, and you aren't enjoying it, you just got to ask yourself, why? Why are you not enjoying it? What is going on with you? Why did you start? Why is it that you want to quit? Why do you want to stop? And really drill down with it and sit with that and be as honest as you can with it, because the truth is, it involves you, it's about you. Without you, that thing doesn't exist. So all of the answers, you've got them all within inside yourself. You've got to ask yourself why. Give yourself an answer, respond, connect with it. If it doesn't feel like it's the real response, the authentic response, ask again, okay, why that response? Is this the real response? And drill down on it. I've experienced it myself for Feb, as you know, with this rings dips. It's been challenging, but that's the thing, it is a challenge. So it's done exactly what it needed to do. But I'm not giving up. I'm continuing with it. And listen, if you're thinking about giving up your fitness journey, whatever that may be, I'd urge you to just take that moment and just reflect and think, why do I want to do that? Is it because it's difficult? Is it because it's challenging? Is this something that I really want to do? Because you know what? If it is, you've got to change that mindset. You've got to say, you know what? How I'm feeling right now is nowhere near what I'm going to feel like when I push through this and come through the other side. Remember, if you've started and you've surpassed your day one, you are already on that journey. So that's amazing, and stick with it. Okay, that's the pull-ups done. Rings dips now. Look at those happy chops. So, the rings dips, awesome. 4 reps max, that's what I've set myself. So I've done 4 reps max for block 1 of the rings dips, block 2 of the rings dips, and the final block 3. So that's 280 rings dips, keeping the focus at the 4 reps max for the set. So I am proper chuffed. Honestly, I feel really good. I do feel really good. Reasons for this, I suspect that it's definitely not one thing. It's a complex myriad of things. So it's everything from 2 days rest and recovery to the fact that I've been focusing on this challenge now, specifically training this movement 5 days a week for large volumes. So now my physiology is getting used to this. It's like, where are these ring steps? We need them. So it's getting used to that physically. We know the mental side of it. I've shared that with you. How I've overcome that barrier by just accepting what is and moving into logic. So not attaching any type of feelings to those thoughts of high expectations, shall we say. So that has been surpassed. And so literally right now where I'm at, I'm feeling really good. So I'll show you. You'll be able to see the workout at the end of this video, and of course I'll show you the high level project in other videos as we move forward in this vlog series. But listen, I'm feeling really good. I'd say probably the next plan is for me to focus on increasing the rep range for the set max to 5 reps max. But listen, this is a journey. The destination is 5,000 ring steps, but how I get there is going to be something that I'm going to continually improve upon, but you'll see it all. So listen, thanks for staying with me on this journey. I will see you very soon. Take care.